the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
As the Chicago Bears get prepared for their very first day of training camp in the next couple of days, this key rookie from the 2025 NFL Draft feels that he has a big advantage in this huge position battle on the Chicago Bears roster. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. First and foremost, Bears fans, happy Sunday to every single one of you guys. I hope you guys had a very good long weekend, spending time with your family, keeping track of the rookies and some of the quarterbacks and the injured players reporting to training camp. I hope you guys just had a really good long weekend. So on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I wanted to provide you guys just a couple of updates in regard to Chicago Bears training camp before we get into the gist of Keek on the Mic today. First and foremost, quarterback Case Keenum has been activated off the active NFI list. That means injured players that were injured away from team activities were put on this list. We talked about this yesterday. Case Keenum was one of those players that are on it, along with guys like Ian Wheeler, Ja'Day Walker, and of course, cornerback Jalen Johnson as well. No update on Jalen Johnson on what his injury is or how long he'll actually be on that list. I do want to remind you guys once again that any player that is on this NFI list has to be removed prior to them actually participating in training camp practice. So it's going to be a situation that we will continue to monitor with Jalen Johnson. I hope it's not like a serious injury. I hope he is not doing this because contract-related reasons, but we'll be keeping a close eye on Jalen Johnson if he remains on this NFI list as Chicago Bears prepare for their very first training camp practice in the next couple of days. So Bears fans, on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about one of the biggest positional battles going into training camp this year for the Chicago Bears, and that is the left tackle spot on this Bears offensive line. And there's three players on this roster that are going to be competing for the starting left tackle job this season, and that is Aji Chapillo, the second-round pick out of Boston College from the 2025 NFL draft class. Of course, Karan Amagaji going into year two. He was drafted in the third round last year out of Yale. And then, of course, Braxton Jones, the veteran that is coming back from a season-ending injury. So it's slated to be a pretty intense battle between those three guys. But what I wanted to bring to you guys' attention on today's episode of Keek on the Mic is actually Aji Chapillo, the newly drafted second-round pick for the Chicago Bears this year, feels that he actually has a big advantage of really landing the starting left tackle role here on the Chicago Bears offensive line. And it's due to the fact that he feels like he's going to get a huge spark from playing next to future Hall of Famer Joe Thuney. This is what he had to say, Bears fans. When we're out there, especially after a rep, the benefit of practice is you can get back to the huddle and talk a little bit about it. You don't have to move on to the next play right now, especially looking at the tape and stuff like that. So it's talking through reps with him, kind of seeing where his head's at and just picking his brain. Bears fans, first and foremost, I just want to make it very clear that this is a very solid point that Aji Chapillo brings up. The benefit of having a guy like Joe Thuney playing right next to you, a guy that has been doing it at a high level on and off the field, not only with the New England Patriots for years, but then went to the Kansas City Chiefs and continued to play at a high level. And even at the age of 33 years old, he still has probably a good 3 to 4 years left of probably high level play. Not only playing his role, but also obviously being a high level mentor for guys, young guys like Aji Chapillo on this roster. But I do want to make this very clear that Aji Chapillo is not going to be the only player that's going to benefit from a guy like Joe Thuney. Obviously, Drew Dahlman playing center, he's going to benefit from Joe Thuney. Obviously, Karan Amagaji and Braxton Jones are also going to benefit from guys like Joe Thuney. So when you're looking at this left tackle battle, it's going to be all about making the most out of his reps, talking about Aji Chapillo, Karan Amagaji, and Braxton Jones. And another thing that, when you're really looking at this left tackle battle, in Aji Chapillo's case, what gives him kind of that edge is that he's new, right? He has the chance to make a really good impression. Obviously, when you look at his measurables, he's 6'8", obviously very versatile as well. And it seems that Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles are all already really high on a guy like Aji Trapillo, and he's going to give every opportunity possible to win the left tackle job. What also helps a guy like Aji Trapillo, Karan Magaji, and even Braxton Jones when they're competing for the left tackle job is not only playing next to Joe Thuney, you have the benefit of a really good play caller now in Ben Johnson that's going to put you in the best situations to succeed. Not only that, the Chicago Bears have finally found a really good offensive line coach in Dan Rochar as well. Dan Rochar has made a living of developing guys like Aji Trapillo and Karan Magaji. So this is going to be a really close, intense battle in regard to the left tackle spot on this Bears offensive line. And obviously you can make an argument for each and every one of these guys. But what I'm really looking forward to, especially on the first couple of weeks, is the competition between Aji Trapillo and Karan Magaji, because you have to understand that Braxton Jones is not possibly going to be ready for the start of training camp. So that means for the first couple of weeks, guys like Aji Trapillo and Karan Magaji have to take full advantage of the amount of reps that they're going to be getting at the left tackle spot. Of course, when you look at Aji Trapillo, once again, he's a rookie, 6'8". He's brand new. But when you look at Karan Magaji, he has a little bit of experience. Last season was, to me, just needs to be wiped out of Bears fans' memory. I feel like he was dealt with a very crappy hand. He just definitely wasn't ready to be thrown into the fire like that. But now, a year removed, now after a full offseason, a full, mandatory minicamp and training camp, I'm expecting a more improved Karan Magaji. So I'm really excited to see Aji Trapillo and Karan Magaji get, a fair amount of reps. And, Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears organization are going to be mixing it around a lot. And each and every single one of these guys, I'm going to get a fair opportunity to try to win the left tackle position. So Bears fans, I just wanted to come on here really quick and bring that statement that Aji Trapillo gave. I think he makes a good point that, playing alongside a guy like Joe Thuney will give anyone a fair advantage, playing left tackle, right? But I think not only will he get awarded the opportunity, obviously Karan Magaji and Braxton Jones will also be awarded that same opportunity to play, hopefully, next to Joe Thuney. So Bears fans, let me know down below on who you actually think has the early edge in the left tackle spot. I'm still feeling indifferent that if Braxton Jones comes back and he's healthy, I think he has a slight edge just due to his experience. But I think, while Braxton Jones is still recovering from that season-ending injury last year, I think Aji Trapillo and Karan Magaji definitely have to make the most of this opportunity. But let me know down below who you think has a slight edge in the left tackle battle. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. But Bears fans, before I let you guys go on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I just want to share with you guys really quick about the clear message that Caleb Williams really set on day one of Chicago Bears training camp. Obviously, the Chicago Bears social media team was posting videos and pictures of players arriving to camp. And obviously made it very clear that the only people that were really supposed to be attending, yesterday at Hallis Hall was the rookies and the injured players. There was no obligation for Caleb Williams or any of the quarterbacks to actually report until, I believe, July 22nd. So that means Caleb Williams set a clear example and came a couple of days early. And to me, that sets a clear message, not only for himself to, his head coach and Ben Johnson, really focusing on the details and just getting really eager to get back into Hallis Hall and getting right back to work, but also saying a clear message to his teammates as well, saying that, hey, even though I was supposed to report on July 22nd, I want to get in here early with the rookies and with the injured guys as well to get a little bit of a head start because I'm that excited about what we have going on here. And to me, that is what a leader does. And even though that may be a small gesture by quarterback Caleb Williams, it really does show his leadership qualities and just really shows that he's trying to take that next step in year two as Chicago Bears franchise quarterback. So Bears fans, let me know down below how you feel about Caleb Williams showing up a couple of days early because I really feel like it's a big deal in terms of sending that clear message to his teammates. But other than that, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, Bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.